I'm unemployed, so we're going to solve another LeetCode problem. And luckily, this problem, I solved it in the contest 415, which was Saturday night. Saturday night. So the solution and the approach for this problem is still in my head, and I can remember it well without having to look at it again. And here's the problem statement. In the town of Digitville, there was a list of numbers called nums containing integers from 0 to n minus 1. Each number was supposed to appear exactly once in the list. However, two mischievous numbers sneaked in an additional time, making the list longer than usual. As a town detective, your task is to find these two sneaky numbers, return an array of size 2 containing the two numbers in any order, so peace can return to Digitville. Now, upon looking at this problem statement for the first time, it looks pretty similar to find the duplicate number, except instead of one duplicate number, there's two. And here's how we would perform it. So we have our array over here, which is nums, right? So what I do is we'd set up a hash map, right? And this hash map contains the counter of it. It's a bad curly brace, whatever. So the first occurrence of 0, we found it. So we add this to our hash map as our first occurrence. First occurrence of 1, we add it, right? Oh, there's a second occurrence of 1, which means that 1 is one of the two duplicate numbers. Oh, there's a second occurrence of 0, which means that 0 is the second and final duplicate number in our two sneaky numbers. So all we have to do is append these two numbers to an array and return that array, right? So our solution includes using a hash map and an array. It has an O of n time complexity because we have to loop through the array in order to check all the elements. All right. So here's how we're going to write the solution for it. So our first step was to create a dictionary or hash map, and we're going to create it. Right, we have an empty dictionary, and we're also going to create an array for our scene items or scene elements. Right, that's what it is right there. Initialize. Right, so that's our initialization for our variables. So now what we have to do is loop through our array to find all the occurrences of every number. So for I in nums, if I in scene_dict, scene.append of I, else scene_dict of I is equal to 1. Okay, so that right there is my solution. I'm going to explain it right now, step by step. So our first step was to create our hash map, right? That was what we did over here. We created the hash map and we checked the occurrences. And we also created an array to add the duplicate numbers. And that's what this scene array does. Now all we had to do was loop through our array and find every occurrence of every number. And that's what we're doing. What we're doing is we're checking if each element is in our hash map. And if it already is in the hash map, it means that it's already been seen before. So that means that this is the second occurrence of that number. And then we can add that number to our scene array. But if it isn't in the dictionary or in the hash map already, it means that this is the first occurrence. So we can add this to our hash map and set a value of 1. And finally, we can return scene, which is the two numbers that have an occurrence of 2. So let's run the solution. There we go. This is an O of n solution since all we had to do, the most complex thing over here, was to loop through our array. All right. So that was my solution for question number 3289, the two sneaky numbers of Digitville. That was it for today, and I'll see you in the next one.